reason to be worried. After all, Gaming, the guard we mentioned, is his son.
And Zhongli's like, oh, I get it.
Gaming. The name sounds somewhat familiar. Ah, yes. That is the name of the Wushu dancer who has been performing around Liyue Harbor recently, is it not?
Oh, have you seen him perform?
Indeed. I cannot help but admire his skill. He truly encapsulates the spirit of the Suani.
Oh, that would appeal to Zhongli, wouldn't it?
Wushu dancing has become more well known in Liyue Harbor recently. However, although performers are seeing budding success, they have no doubt had to face many hurdles along the way. One's not so easily understood by spectators such as ourselves.
This dude just takes one look at the situation and goes, I got this.
If you ask me, what truly deserves admiration is perseverance in the face of adversity. That is a rare attribute indeed.
I mean, I'm still not discounting the possibility that Cloud Retainer enlisted his services, but...
I have heard many of my acquaintances praise Gaming for his kind, selfless, and courageous disposition. To have a child so accomplished and upright, you must be a very proud parent indeed, Uncle Lip.
Look at that, slipping the dagger gently between the ribs. Nice work.
Seems like Zhongli has decided to skip the formalities.
Which is unusual for him.
Well, he's a hard worker. Yes.
You should be sure to tell him you think that when he gets back.
Awkward. Super awkward.
Your son is young yet. It's normal for someone his age to be a bit hot-headed. It's understandable to find talking about such things in person difficult. If there's a particular sentiment you wish to convey, perhaps we could pass it along for you.
So this is progressing along the situation I said we needed for this reunion to be believable. I was saying that we need to see him understand the importance of Wushu dancing to Gaming. And we need to see him believably change his opinion. This is not quite the way I imagined it happening, but we are seeing it happen what I said needed to happen. So this is going to be more believable. It still doesn't stop the pain and hurt that Gaming has felt from his father's disrespect and disregard for his opinions over the years. So I don't think that a thank you really still suffices, but at least we are going through the required steps to get there.
No. It wouldn't be right to ask that of you.
It'd be fucking awkward to ask that of him.
This thing between us has festered for many years now.
Get no one to blame but yourself.
In truth, there are some things that simply aren't easy for us to talk through.
And I know that I am ignoring the obvious elements of culture here. I know we're talking about what is essentially a Chinese father and a Chinese son, and that there are different cultural expectations. I'm just talking about the situation without the culture added to it, just as human beings. So I do understand that there are different, I probably should have mentioned that back at the beginning. I understand that there are extra ramifications. I just don't think that me as a white girl with no culture has any perspective to add to that kind of conversation. So I'm not adding it to that part of the conversation. I'm just taking this as a black and white situation.
I've been in the tea business for most of my life, and I always hoped my child would do the same. Otherwise, how would he support himself?
By getting a job like literally everybody else under the sun?
Over the past few years, I heard how well he was doing for himself as a guard. How his work was taking him to farther and farther off places. I also heard that he never gave up on Wushu dancing. It made me happy. But I was also worried.
He really sounds like the voice actor. Like he is an Asian man who has learnt English. Or English was his first language, but he grew up in an Asian household, so he has a very Asian accent to his English. I think probably more the former, because he's a really slow speaker. I don't know if that's just how he was told to play the role of Yip Tak, to speak really slowly, but it sounds like he's struggling to form the words. I don't agree that this kind of accent is appropriate for Genshin Impact, because nobody in this game, aside from the, outliers, have accents beyond American. I mean, we're in a Chinese-inspired area, but the people here all have American accents. They don't have Chinese accents or anything resembling an Asian accent in any of the Asian areas. So to now suddenly have a character that is speaking with an Asian accent is just so out of place. I think it would have been appropriate if every Asian character had an Asian accent. I think that would have been better. Just saying. But having set up that world thusly, now going against your own rules, it's standing out in a really bad way. And can you speak faster, sir?
When you're young, you can handle all that physically taxing work and manual labor. What young person isn't capable of making a living that way? My concern is what happens when you get old.
I mean, that's the same of any physical profession, which is, I'm gonna say it, Yutak, in this world, most of them.
Every time I get to thinking like that, I cannot help but be reinforced in the belief that I was right. That I was right not to give in.
Let me put this another way for you, Yutak. When Garmin gets to that point, you'll be dead. So you're not gonna have to worry about it. Positive thinking. But also, this makes me dislike him even more. Because he's so adamant that he's right, and his argument's really dumb.
I often regret introducing him to wushou dancing as a kid. If I had known how things would turn out, I would have never taken him to see those performances in the first place.
It is only natural for a parent to strive to send their child down the right path. No one would begrudge you that sentiment, Uncle Ip.
Uncle.
You need not worry.
This is the dude, thousands of years old.
You seem quite young, Mr. Zhongli. Yet you speak with such wisdom. Perhaps I have misjudged your age.
By several thousand years, my friend.
Your words are too kind. Truth be told, one of my old friends has several grown daughters.
I don't think we know who he's talking about.
Rather than fretting about their future, however, she prefers to let them find their own way.
Oh, unless you mean Cloud and her disciples.
Then she's more easygoing than I could ever be. I fear I lack such an open mind. I meant to say earlier, there is no need to be so polite. Feel free to call me by my name, Iptak.
Why do you look so surprised?
Sure.
I don't understand their reactions.
So,
there's nothing wrong with what he said.
Do you also think I fret too much, Mr. Zhongli?
Yes, I think you do, and you need to place more trust, faith, and respect in your child.
That's not exactly what I was hoping to convey. Only a fool would ask a parent not to worry about their child. But think of it this way. Raising a child is not unlike flying a kite. Hold the string too tight, and it can no longer soar. As my friend once said, if your children are aiming for the stars, clipping their wings will only cause them to come crashing down. You need to let out the line for a kite to soar.
That is a really good analogy.
It seems I was too stuck in my ways.
Correct. But you haven't shown that you fundamentally understand how and why you were wrong.
You need not reproach your heart for caring. You simply need to loosen your hold a little.
More like a lot.
Indeed, with such a big heart, why not allocate the time you usually spend worrying about Gaming to the pursuit of other things? Like going for a stroll, drinking tea,
Is that her
or
again?
taking in the scenery. You never know what surprises could be in store. Things can change in the blink of an eye.
I can't tell if it's... No, that's just a normal crane. It ain't her.
The blink of an eye, you say? Do things change so quickly?
Children grow up in quite the same way, do they not? Day after day, year after year, sometimes in the blink of an eye, but always when you least expect it. As a father, I'm sure you know that best.
Yes, you can say that again. 1 second, Gaming was a kid. The next thing I knew, he was ready to fly the nest.
Is that because you were too busy with your tea business?
Zhongli certainly has a way with words.
I mean, that's nothing new.
Oh, Gaming is back. Hey, Gaming, we're over here.
And we apparently lost the tea. Don't know where the tea is. Have you seen it?
Dad, Traveler, Paimon. Good, you're all here. Oh, and Mr. Zhongli from the Wangsheng Funeral Parlor? You're here too?
I love the confusion. He's just like, and Zhongli from the Wangsheng Funeral Parlor? Like, bro, why are you here? Oh, that actually was really good voice acting. I did want to point out also, I mean, I don't use honorifics and shit with my family, obviously, because we're white. But would Gaming still be calling his father dad? Dad is such an intimate, close term. If they're on outs, would he still be using the same phrase? I'm biased, so I actually can't give an opinion on that. Reasons. But would he? Would he have changed it to something more formal? I know in some of these situations, people start calling their parents by their first name even. That seems it's a little too scorched earth. But yeah, Dad it seems just too intimate for him to still be using.
A fated meeting indeed. We were just enjoying some pleasant conversation.
Pleasant, he says. Pleasant.
Is everything resolved?
Did you catch up to them?
Well, you could say that.
Did you have a conversation with
What does that mean?
Traveler, Paimon, come with me. I need to talk to you.
Oh no, does he know? Is the jig up?
Huh? Oh, okay.
I'll come right out and say it. Those two bandits, you sent them, didn't you?
It was not me. Blame the bird.
So that's how we're starting off?
Can't look me in the eye, huh? Guess I'm right then.
Okay, but how did you know?
At first, their mannerisms seemed a bit stilted.
I mean,
But once I got close, it was obvious that they possessed great skills. I was right on their tail, and it should have taken only a few steps to catch up to them, yet somehow, I was never able to close that distance.
sounds exhausting.
People with that level of skill would have gone about things differently from the start, like sneaking up on us while we were distracted. Unless, of course, their real motive was to lure me away from the group all along.
Wow, you're pretty quick on the uptake.
I just have a lot of experience. I've dealt with many a ruthless bandit in my time, but I've never seen ones like them.
I don't think they've ever played the role of bandits before either in their defense. Or come across them.
In the end, I told them they would make good guards if they ever wanted to get back on the straight and narrow, and that they could hang out with me in Liyue Harbor anytime.
Straight and narrow.
You ever consider you might be a little too good at making friends?
I'm guessing you guys were trying to help resolve things between my dad and me?
Yeah.
I appreciate it, I really do.
I feel like we've been really invasive.
But this conflict between us has been going on for a long time. Even if those two were real bandits, and I was able to subdue them and show them what I was capable of, it wouldn't change anything.
I still think thematically you should have.
You've seen the way he talks to me.
It's not like that at all. Your dad really cares about you. You should see the way he talks about you when you're not around.
I don't see how that changes anything. Whether he being his father, he's making these comments about him and to him, about him and his future, out of concern is really not relevant. He's still making the comments. You know, it's not always the thought that counts. Sometimes it's the actions that count. And his actions are not respectful towards Gaming. So it doesn't matter if he's doing it out of a place of love, really. It doesn't change the situation. It doesn't change reality, knowing why somebody did something in this context.
Zhongli was talking things through with him and he nearly agreed to let it go.
It's not that simple, Paimon.
You don't believe us?
He won't let it go. He can say as much as he wants to other people, but he won't talk to me. I'm certain of it.
And will you talk to him? I really don't think it's his place. I hate it when everyone's like, oh, be the bigger man, take the high road. Like, fuck that. It's not his place to beg for respect from his father. It's up to his father to change his perspective and learn how to respect his son. That's all it comes down to. Gumming should not be the one initiating.
You told us you wanted to prove yourself to your dad.
Shouldn't.
Why don't you tell him about all the hard work you've done these past few years?
Because how is it any different than begging for affection from his father, begging for approval if you have to shove it under his nose like that. The guy's got to have some self-respect, please.
Will that even do anything? I'm not sure talking is enough.
That's what I said from the beginning. Talking isn't enough.
You won't know unless you try. Just like how you won't know if something is delicious unless you taste it.
Yeah, doesn't mean I'm gonna go lick random foods, Paimon.
Listen to us. It's time to put these people skills to good use.
Please don't
you
listen
can
to
make
us.
friends with anyone, so why not your dad?
Please don't listen to us. This is really misconstrued advice. Good luck, we'll be rooting for you. It won't hurt to try. Oh, I think it would. His pride, his dignity, his self-respect. You know, it's gonna hurt a lot of things.
I'll do my best.
Please just ignore us and go about your day, sir.
You are very
These two go at it.
knowledgeable, Mr. Zhongli. I'm impressed.
They seem to be having a good time bonding. Let's just leave them to it. He can get a new surrogate son. And I don't know which is he and which is the son.
Despite my being in the tea industry for several decades, it seems I still have much to learn about the art of tea tasting.
Look, I was thinking it, but I wasn't going to say it.
You flatter me. It was nothing but a few humble musings.
How much tea have you drank since we've been gone?
It's not like it was alcohol.
Ipdak and I have found many a common interest. Our friendship, much like a cup of tea, seems to grow stronger the longer it has to steep.
Sorry, I still can't get past this dude's name. Yiptak. I don't know if that comes from Eastern Chinese regions or Northern Chinese regions. I can't make up my mind. I'm not well versed enough in non-traditional Chinese names to... Not traditional, stereotypical, non-stereotypical Chinese names to know which region that it comes from. China's a fucking massive country. We can all agree on that. I mean, Russia's bigger, obviously, but China's massive, and it comes from the descent of a lot of different cultures. So what we quintessentially view as Chinese culture is only prevalent for like the eastern part of the country. It isn't true for the entire nation. Whereas things like America and Australia and shit, it's the same all around the country. So in China, you do have like the Mongol influence from the north, but then you have the Uyghur and Syro-Turkish influences from the west. Did I say east earlier? I meant west. I knew what I meant. So I don't know where the name Yiptak is coming from, which region. I just find it interesting that we've given this dude that name when he's very much coming from a stereotypical Chinese location. This village, Chunyu Vale, is still very stereotypically Chinese. So it's in what I'd like to know the thought process into giving him a name that was not stereotypically Chinese. I'm going to use that phrase because I don't know what else to call it. When you're not making the location reflect the culture, the name. I don't know if the name's real and if it comes from the culture, but it feels like it comes from one of these other subcultures of China. I kind of wish if you gave him one of those names, you should have put him in a region that reflected one of these other cultures of China rather than sticking him with that name in where he is. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It feels out of place, not culturally as a whole, but just culturally with the subset we have in the game. I'm really bad at articulating myself. This is why I'm a writer, guys. I can edit my shit. When you speak, you kind of just got to go for it. So yeah, that's the problem. I use the term in quotation marks that I have his name. I don't have a problem with the name itself. I just have a problem with where it's placed in the world.
Well said,
That's what I'm trying to say.
Mr. Zhongli.
Well, I certainly wasn't articulate, so you're not saying that to me, Yiptak.
Gaming, Mr. Zhongli is very knowledgeable. You should take the opportunity to learn from people like him when you're in the city.
That kind of grates on me. It's kind of you should speak to people who are better than you to better yourself. It feels very... I know it's not how he meant it, but it feels very... disdainful? It's not the word I'm looking for, but I can't think of the word I'm thinking of.
Huh? Oh, of course.
I know he meant it as an encouraging way, but it just grated on me.
Zhongli?
POQ, I think is what she's trying to say.
I have very much enjoyed our conversation, Ipdak, but I, unfortunately, have some unfinished funeral parlor business to attend to.
Such as continuing to fly his kite.
Oh, I hope I didn't keep you. My apologies for taking up so much of your time, Mr. Zhongli. No need to stay on my account. When you're less busy, let's find a time to meet. I'll treat you to dim sum.
Why is everybody treating everybody else to dim sum? Jesus, is there no other food you can pick? Or is it supposed to insinuate that it's a family thing? Have we ever had it answered as to exactly what funeral business Zhongli even does? He's often said to be a consultant of the Wangsheng funeral parlor, but what does he actually do? I know I've asked this question before, but I still don't think I get answers to the question.
It would be an honor.
I can't get over how thin his hair is. Jesus.
We'll see you off, Zhongli. You two have a nice chat, all right?
This hurts my soul. It's like forcing an introvert to be extroverted. No, that's not the situation at hand, but like that's the feeling. It's a comparable situation. I hate it. Leave it here still and talk to Zhongli. Look, you were totally enlisted by Clown Retainer, weren't you? Can't hide it from me.
Thanks for helping us talk things through with Uncle Ip. Good thing you were able to pick up on what we were putting down.
Hearing Paimon say that.
I have been around the both of you for some time now. You could say I have a certain level of expertise in that regard.
Yeah, can't judge him for that one.
As for my role in the conversation, think nothing of it. I hardly did anything noteworthy.
Tell that the gummy.
You never change, do you? Why did you have us walk all this way? Paimon thought we just had to go far enough to be out of earshot.
A friend approaches.
Hello.
Ciao! I knew we had to have him somewhere, but and I realized when we were teleporting. I'm sorry, I gesture a lot, and so I hit my Windows key and it all minimized. When we were going to Wangshu Inn, I was like, are we specifically taking this route? I mean, it's literally the only route to get through to Leo Harbor. But are we taking this route because we're going to meet Xiao? And then we didn't meet Xiao. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, generally as compensation, this is fine. But he's back. Why? Why are you back?
Xiao, you're here too?
I've been here the whole time.
You just couldn't see me, Paimon? Blind much?
A ghostly kite. Could that elusive Director Who be coming to Wangshu Inn once again?
Oh, that's not good. You couldn't see the string on the kite as well. It looked kind of weird.
What is she doing here? I suppose it matters not. Given her relationship with Rex, well, Zhongli, I might as well go pay my respects.
He's also so filial and respectful. He's such a peach, Xiao. Honestly.
It's you. I thought you were Director Who.
Ah, your arrival is most fortuitous. Do you want to try out this new gadget? The addition of the power source makes the takeoff more stable. It's just that...
I love how he just nonchalantly starts talking about kite flying.
He seems quite immersed in the study of this device.
Yes, he rather does.
I fear it's almost too stable. It completely negates the pleasure of seeing one's kite sway with the wind. It's a bit of a shame.
Thank you, Zhongli. Finally, somebody putting some goddamn wisdom back into this game. Oh, I knew I could trust on you.
In truth, I'm here because Director Who dispatched me to purchase some items in preparation for Lantern Rite.
And he thought he'd just stop to fly a kite.
I see. Much like she does every year. Much like she'll do next year, I would imagine. Am I wrong? Or has she once again sent you out to buy, what is it, sesame oil or something?
While we're on the subject, I do wonder why she is so obsessed with using sesame oil in the preparation of mixed vegetable dishes for Lantern Rite. A recommendation from Xiangling, perhaps. What do you think, Xiao?
I've only met Director Who a few times. I'm hardly the best person to ask.
I just love this casual conversation between the two of them. It's like so irrelevant, but it feels very heavy and there's weight behind what they're talking about. I love it.
Ah, and is that not a sign that you should visit Wangsheng Funeral Parlor more often? It wouldn't hurt to grace the parlor with your presence now and again, when you are otherwise unoccupied.
Oh, I love that. He's chiding him for not coming to visit him. Oh, Zhongli, I'll visit you, my man.
This one here is a traditional kite, one without any equipped mechanical device. Director Hu tasked me with studying the differences between the
I
two
see.
to determine which one is of greater merit. Many hands make light work. Perhaps you could test out the other kite for me?
We never saw another kite.
All right,
So they just were flying kites
I
together.
have made my comparisons.
Oh, that is so adorable. It really is. Obviously the original kite. While it's hard to get it in the air, that's part of the challenge.
If speed is what you're after, the mechanical kite is the better choice.
Wonderful. I shall pass that information along to Director Hu.
He hasn't finished with his review.
I'll leave these 2 kites with you. Perhaps you can find a few friends with which to partake in the activity. You might find it to be an enjoyable use of your time.
Oh, wait. Who enjoys kite flying?
Well, I would imagine someone of your talent and wisdom is more than capable of finding out.
And now he's giving him homework. Oh.
So, you were testing out the kites for Hu Tao and even roped Xiao into doing it for you? Paimon didn't ask earlier because the situation was awkward.
I would hardly say I roped Xiao into anything. I simply sought the help of a friend. Besides, we did the testing together.
Seems like our pool of competitors is growing.
I want fan art of this moment. Not the Traveler and Paimon, get rid of them. I want fan art of Zhongli and Xiao flying kites together. Oh, it would be so adorable. The competition's not the important thing right now, don't worry. Yeah, it's really
Do you like kite flying, Xiao?
I suppose I neither like nor dislike it.
It just is.
Although, watching a kite gradually ascend into the sky does bring me a certain peace of mind. Perhaps they're a bit like Shao lanterns in that way.
Xiao lanterns are cooler and they have bigger symbolism.
Kite flying is also a pleasant form of relaxation.
Dude, kite flying is stressful.
Have you ever thought about making a kite, Xiao? Cloud Retainer taught us how. We can teach you if you want.
There's no need. Menogius was the only Yaksha among us who had an interest in matters of ornamentation and design.
It doesn't mean that you can't learn to have an interest in those things.
When Lantern Rite is over, come find me near Pervasi's temple if you have the time.
Why Pervasi's temple? I mean, sure, never gonna turn up a chance to chat to you, but why there? Absolutely.
It's getting late. I should go inform Director Hu of our findings.
How's she been, by the way? Be sure to say hi to her for us.
Hello, Gumming and his father. We're just forgetting about why we're here.
The last time I spoke to her, she mentioned that she would be visiting Chaoying village in a few days.
Why?
If you have the time, perhaps you could also make the trip. If you happen to run into her, you can pass along your regards in person.
Why is she going there?
We'll keep that in mind. Take care, Zhongli. See you later.
See you next time.
Bye. Yep, this is awkward.
Coming.
Why did it say son? That is not what he said.
You can go first.
I don't have anything to say.
Then why did you mention his name?
Then I'll go. I still don't want to leave Liyue Harbor.
Oh. I can't say I support that decision, but
He said but! I mean, I'm not even on Team Dad here, but can you just pipe down for a second? He said but.
hey, let me finish before you get all worked up.
Yeah, again, not Team Dad, but just let the damn man speak.
Sit, Shenhe, sit. You must be tired from your journey. Shall I pour you a cup of tea, or would you prefer something else to drink?
I don't know that this was really the time for this. They were about to talk, and he was about to open up, and you stopped him.
No need. I'm not tired. They're gone, Master. Perfect. The time is nigh for us to make an appearance.
I think things were going fine without your appearance, to be honest.
Do you remember the plan one recounted to you?
Yes, Master. We aim to give them a demonstration of familial love.
Aww. Okay, I'm okay for this. It doesn't help the situation at hand, but I'm okay with seeing that between the two of them.
So I'll have whatever you are having.
All right.
Where are they magically getting us tea from, by the way? It's like there's a vendor here.
What are Auntie Xinyun and Shenhe doing here? Just how many people are involved in
You
this?
didn't think I came up with this harebrained idea, did you?
I suppose all I can do is just take a seat and see what happens.
Perfect. I just so happen to have bought some Sunglow tea recently. It's quite the delectable variety. Or it would be.
There's a hill
if
chill
one
in the
has not been
background.
forced to drink it every day in the hopes of whittling down one's considerable stash. One has more than had one's fill already.
Is that the tea she bought in excess back in the village?
Forget it. Such thoughts detract from the present need to keep up the conversation. Has work been busy during the holiday season? Do you need my help with anything?
It sounds so stilted.
Drunk guests can sometimes cause trouble, but I deal with them as you taught me, by pinning their heads against the table.
Yeah.
Are Auntie Xinyun and Shenhe serious right now?
Yes. Unfortunately, they are.
Oh dear. While one was busy orchestrating this act, one seems to have forgotten about Shenhe's various eccentricities.
Galanya would have been the better option. I'm gonna be real honest right there.
What I meant to ask was, have you made any new friends? We live so far from each other. It would be a great comfort to me to know you were surrounded by good companions.
You already know of my past circumstances.
Act, Shenhe. Act.
Recently, I've been conversing with Guoba in the kitchen at night. Guoba can't talk, but his companionship is a comfort.
The poor child. Her one friend can't even talk. I guess maybe Gami is not doing so bad after all. Perhaps I've been too hard on him.
I love how that wasn't even the message he was supposed to read into the situation. But it works. Poor Guoba. He's just been reduced to a friend who can't talk.
Let's move on, shall we? Do you have any plans for today, Shenhe? How about we do something fun?
That sounds about right. Take her to do something fun, and perhaps she'll loosen up a bit.
Like we used to do when we would carry stones up and down the mountain from dawn until dusk, picking herbs to eat for dinner along the way. If that is what you ask of me, then that is what I shall do.
I like the wide eyes, like, no, abort.
Dad, here, have some tea. Or no, wait, let's not have any just yet.
Yeah. I simply can't listen to that any longer. Coming. I'd like to finish what I was trying to say before. I don't support your decision to stay in Liyue Harbor, because living there is too hard on you.
It says here, but it should say there.
If you come home, there will be people to help you. I'm not saying we have to live under the same roof. I know our personalities are too similar to avoid butting heads. But you'll have your entire family around you.
The family can't compensate for the demise of his dreams, sir.
Your aunts, uncles, they'll all do whatever they can to help. You could get a less taxing job, and we could grab dim sum together from time to time.
Huh. I didn't know dim sum was such an important affair, Master.
Look, this quest chain has been telling me it's a very important affair.
Shh. Just think about it. Okay? You don't have to decide now.
And this is reinforcing the point that he has not changed his thought process. He's still adamant that he is right, no matter what we've seen.
Dad really has changed a lot. He would never have said these things to me before.
Yeah, but he's still not on Team Gaming. He's on, hey, I'm trying to be looser about life, but I still think you need to come home. Even if it's not my house, you need to just still come home and be here with your family. Not doing the thing that you want to do. I'm assuming he's not doing a thing, but he actually didn't mention that. Does he expect, but what use is there for wuxia dancing in a, like, countryside town is probably the better question to be asking.
But thank you, Dad.
It's been long enough, don't you think?
No! Oh,
I'm
Jesus.
sure hopes they've made up by now.
Oh, everyone's timing is abysmal at the moment.
Oh, they're drinking tea in silence. That's not a good sign. Did Xianyun's plan not work after all? Hey, you two! Paimon's sorry we were gone for so long. We got to chatting with some friends and didn't realize how much time had passed.
Perfect timing, actually. We seem to be just about done here.
Yep, let's go. I'll get the bags.
What bags? You left them back when you got ambushed by the two twits.
Gaming has grown a lot taller, hasn't he?
That is what bodies tend to do. Until you hit 21 and then they start growing in the opposite direction. Go to Leo Harbour and deliver the goods. Okie dokie. Well, we're going to come at it from the wrong direction. Hope the game won't hold that against me.